Jackson Irvine, Alexander Blassin, Eric Sweet. It is obvious they are all in this special football company for one reason: to see the wealth gathered there vanish to elsewhere. This is of course supervised by someone, and I can imagine that it is the very Peter TSCHENTSCHER that is so sober looking and therefore had been selected. Upon knowledge how I react to certain people and certain things on just on the TV screen. I had that thought in today's Eric Smiths or Smiths. Also the thought that upon me entering a place where in Erfurt it is possible to watch football games, merely 3 places, because I at home have no possibility. Yeah, so of course, if one would be interested how that wealth now could leave this country, it is important to not leave out those very football commentators. They are really in the nose of everything. Yeah, they know the players, they know the people. With, for example, me. In which respect they are important, and they are able as middlemen to direct things, which does of course not exclude the very health center I once in a while speak about, but it is maybe a kind of an add-on. So it is obvious. Blassin, this is not really a name. I tried to pronounce it French. Blassin, does it make sense? Not really. Smith, an indicator, again, by the football commentators. I would not ponder about that any further, unless one would think about shoplifting, and the very CD in my shelf, it was one of the first that I bought in Marburg. Prior I had bought some already elsewhere. There, first bed photo, yeah, my brother lying in a dressed manner on my bed. So if maybe one did build a row, a kind of a row on that. There are other bed photos though. One is showing Christiane, yeah? Not the Hamburgian one, but the original from my point of view, which stems from Frankfurt, and was living in a WG, in a live-in community, together with a love relationship number 1. And the fact that Hamburg harked back to that lightly in all those contexts, but deviated kind of significantly because theirs is more sober. So what I want to say, if it was true, I did this morning in a very tired a condition. I did live posts which were all in while interrupted on a certain Burkhardt. On a certain Burkhardt, I recapitulate, and first I suggest that upon his directions, only that a certain Jackson Irvine, for a reason to be explained, other than his wealth and his whereabouts from as far as Australia. So I would suggest that that name was given by a Burkhardt. Thereby, a Burkhardt really indeed stands between me and Jackson Irvine. Well, one might add not any longer, because either Daniela Cornelius or a Tina Lücke would have then sprung in, when it was clear that I would restrict myself to 3 people of interest. She would have everything on display immediately. Me, at first I have to muddle and buddle myself through, and also my posts are not watched. So they are really unsportive, and giving themselves putting themselves into condition which yeah, it is not. What is it? I don't know. maybe one can just remain on the financial, unless one would want to inquire further, which I did not. So Burkhard, upon having seen now me not having bought Weintrauben but a Jackson fruit, Kent early on, here in Erfurt, he then would already have stretched out his fingers to elsewhere, and they would already know. At the latest, after my first version was ready, and me having survived in 2013, he would have stretched out his fingers and would know whom to address, and and where the money from 2006 following was landed to. Was it like that, Burkhard? So you, a civil law professional, meantime, possibly, being able to deal with every other field, of course, as well, as a German jurist, and still not having been mandated by myself, me as the author, which people also graspable, yeah, which people know, and likely having directed also that very health center on grounds of, in Trixie Dingsdar's case, her GDR passed. In the case of the Marburgian younger one, his 13 points contribution, yeah, like having stolen my work and having handed it out to elsewhere, either against money or even more interesting, not against money, and therefore likely to having been educated by those very people. Likely that we would meet in a schlagende Verbindung, and would have this little encounter when I later found out upon writing the Rocky Horror Picture Show text, which was the very one which would grasp out immediately and litigated already, albeit it is by far not ready. So when writing that, I came to the idea that one and this Hafiz one, this professor, they indeed were on a kind of Rudyard Kipling. Those were those people. It is so unpleasant. So we are talking about, where do I have that from? Was it 8 million, or was it the 8 million I want to have for my work worth only? Somewhere it was readable that this Jackson Irvine came here with loads and loads of money, and it's really totally astonishing how good a slut can be, that she received everything. And was it diverted among few sluts, if one is honest? How good can a slut be to bring a man, albeit being able to appear as a little child, and to bring that one to hand out everything, albeit he has not yet found his very target, which was likely me, because those people also were trained to grasp themselves out one book out of my possession, in order to at best, and which was the case, to at best play that to the public and to me on one occasion. Yeah, indeed, we were playing you now this story. The Oma over there, the grandmother of anyone, playing me that story. I could show it in a post. It is when I did this row here. So she would have the same lipstick, as the Einband, the cover of a very small book. Why would she do that? Because she was directed likely from the very greenish person from Marburg, That one that was after all likely to having rented out a whole house after all flats inside were being emptied. One example would be Burkhard, not Burkhard, would be Patrick Daghert, who earlier on before mid-90s was already working for the Médecins Sans Frontières in Brazil. So it is not too exaggerated to assume that that one was simply killed, and after that another one and another one and another one until the house was empty, and then just anybody could move in. Was it like that? So maybe that one, as a friend of this love relationship number 3 of mine, the Persian one, An or Real, the one that already suggested a Russian A context, yeah, me, no, not that I knew of. Thereby displaying again a kind of distrust towards my person, how it could be possible that I survived that accident/murder attempt. As a child, 7 or 8 years old. And thereby also allowing for assuming that this totally greenish person, she is maybe two heads taller than I would find her unappetitlich, but this is also with regard to Nadja Friedrich the case. But I'm not a man, yeah, so, and I'm not a woman trained, I would assume trained over decades even, because she is halfway over 40 if she was Tina Lücke, having been trained to just hop on everything. I grasp some ideas. Hop on just everything, yeah. So that one now living in a huge Hamburgian flat, which could also have been mine. Yeah, on grounds of all those intellectual work. So, who was taken, if that Jackson Irvine named totally differently, me on my behalf would not able to find him if I would want to. After he had left the country upon now the football company already having become a Genossenschaft, and maybe all of a sudden further fourth leading of further contracting no further so when does your contract end? After the 17th indeed, the 17th of May. So I presume then everything is over, you will have left the country to elsewhere, money is away, already diverted away from Germany, overseen by Peter Tschentscher, and some women really happy on sitting on those wealth, but likely to be followable at any point of time by any policeman, having been set in the nose also. So are you doing your own mafia or what? This can be supported by your very assumption, Jackson Irvine, upon the only way possible to communicate was during pitches, during matches on pitches. So you indeed could have conveyed the impression, well, this is maybe behind my backside a goal was shot. Yeah. Question is on whose side, though. This is very true. So this was shortly after I finalized the Note Testament. Yeah. I'm living here in Germany and have to write a Note Testament with either Daniela Cornelius or Tina Lücke, or the same as Tina Westermann is again living on my misdone fate. How can you support that? Are you a characterless asshole or what? Are you that blackmailable? What did you do? And who was there to judge upon you, with those being able to judge upon things because they have scrutinized and have followed you on their behalf, are likely to be turnable in as well. But for that, Jackson Irvine, you would indeed need me. Despite me having done these videos already, yeah, if things go before court, if still a court is existent in this country, I'm speaking right from the midst of Germany, then of course people have to prepare themselves to testify, to say the right things and so on and so forth. And after all, having a kind of a second ear in their very own ear, they are totally dependent. Totally dependent. Are you able to rely on those people? So I have been watched through the TV, now not showing off my ass, and somehow having realized that this is possible, then the ass fucking thing, which I insist that it had indeed been me. It is, yeah, so it is a kind of a second go. Those people hier, die machen ihre Schnauze nicht auf, ja? Die sprechen einfach nicht. Und ich bin nicht trainiert, solche Zeichen zu lesen. Ich bin völlig overcrammed mit dem, was ich bereits rekonstruiert habe. Und kann ich auf jeden Furz achten, der in meiner Umgebung, wenn ich nur einkaufen gehe, geäußert wird. Mir dermaßen sowas zuzumuten, dass ich dazu in der Lage sein müsste, ist eine Unverschämtheit. Ist schlicht und weg eine Unverschämtheit. So, be prepared before the 17th of May, you are going to be filed with the police. I would consider the Bundespolizei, albeit there already. Before 2010 there was this person in a uniform conveying that they knew that person that I'm now left with. My colleague, yeah, a real Islamwissenschaftler, the very person that was the Schweinehälften anecdote about. So I'm going to file that with the Bundespolizei in order to stop, which does not mean that I would lie before courts, which if things would go that far. I would not lie, this is for certain. And this Burkhardt, of course, also, but unfortunately I don't know the family name. But I do recall where I had met him, at least that. Though I don't know whether he was there a member or not in another Hafeiser company.